So, I'm a stepfather, and my daughter might say an evil one. Wow, I can't believe I've already got lost after the second one. You're a hard act to follow, Tony. Wow. Yeah, so... Yeah, evil father, stepfather. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, but it's all about perspective, right? Because, I mean, why does everybody always side with Cinderella, the partying, rebellious teen? I mean, or Snow White. What a tramp! My stepdaughter was really didn't want a stepfather. I wouldn't say she would drown me, but if she saw me drowning, 911 wouldn't have been her first call. It would have been to her boyfriend to say she might be alone tonight. So she wanted a Rottweiler. And you know how that goes, oh, I'm gonna take care of it. But today it's the Rottweiler is her whole world, and tomorrow it's 7 little men. So I didn't want to feed it or take care of it, pick up after it, I'm huge, or have it be involved in my fairy tale demise as a stepfather. Which, that was the line I forgot to say before, that my relationship with my daughter was a fairy tale relationship. Through most of the story I was hated, and then something terrible happens at the end. So, anyway, so the Rottweiler, there's no way. The problem was that teenagers have a lot more free time than you do to plot. So eventually I broke down and I got her a chinchilla named Fury. So when she was in high school, I told her she couldn't have a cell phone. And we're talking about my stepdaughter now, not the chinchilla. And I know that sounds harsh, but those were different times, and I think that's the problem with fairy tales is you don't know the context. I mean, in Hansel and Gretel's time, maybe abandoning your children in the woods was just what you did. So the fairy tale demise of my stepfatherhood came from my ex-wife. She said she couldn't stand to be with me and she wanted to see other people. She's moody like that. I am the third husband, so I always knew she was a flight risk. But she lulled me into this false sense of security after 22 years. The divorce isn't final, but we are social distancing. Really, it's more of a quarantine, and technically a restraining order. So I actually got congratulated on my divorce last week. I wasn't expecting that from my mother or my ex-wife. Mostly I get advice like, stay positive. It's like, okay, till death do us part. Honey, thank you for divorcing me and not murdering me. And I know she could have done it too. After all the princess birthday parties and carpools she organized, she's a really good planner. I've been working on my divorce bucket list. That thing that married people lay awake thinking about never doing. Leave the toilet seat up all day long. Say something. Have sex. We used to have a nightstand on each side of the bed, but now that my ex is gone, I really just need a one night stand. And divorce is hard. I had to, I joined a couple of support groups. I got a therapist, and I'm taking a ballroom dance class. And fortunately, it's an amicable divorce. But I see the signs of bitterness in me. I changed the parental controls on her Netflix account to PG. I wrote a couple of songs. Do 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 do, here comes the summons. And what part of ho don't you understand? So maybe a little bitter. As my marriage was spiraling down about a year ago, I thought I could maybe spice things up. So I booked a stay at a nudist resort. And I know what you're thinking, well, maybe, that, maybe a trip to Hawaii or marriage counseling might have been a better idea. But I was desperate. I mean, she said she wanted to see other people, and she certainly got to. So a nudist resort is a lot more normal, feels a lot more normal than you'd think. Except for when you're leaving your room stark naked and you hear your mother's voice saying, "You can't go out there like that." Well, next time I'm getting mom her own room. And so there's a couple of rules so you don't get thrown out. I want to make sure everybody's got this down. So rule number 1, there's no pictures. Rule number 2, no creepy staring. And rule number 3, no public display of excitement. So you're supposed to wrap yourself up with, cover yourself up with a towel or a hat or a traffic cone. But they're really a forgiving bunch of people. They give you the shirt off their back, hypothetically speaking. But I was expecting sort of just a bunch of people sitting around the pool, checking each other out naked. But they've actually got a whole bunch of fun games and activities there. Ping pong, pool, pickleball. I know where the name comes from now. They play a lot of cards, mostly poker. There's Zumba and yoga. And they even have karaoke, and they encourage you to get up there and show everybody what you've got. You get this new appreciation of anatomical diversity, and Victoria doesn't have any secrets. In fact, she's often oversharing. It's a really friendly place. Some families even bring their kids. And I wouldn't bring mine though, because I think it would confuse them. You think about the childhood taunts that they get. It's like, liar, liar, or I see London, I see France, I see Florida, and they wouldn't know how to give anybody a flat tire. You can see how nudism would complicate even an adult relationship. Who wears the pants? So I started my new life now, and I tried I signed up for a dating app called Silver Singles, and you have to learn the code. So if it says NSA, that means no strings attached, okay? And that means she's looking for something purely physical, okay? And if it says companion, then she's looking for something more long-term. And if she's young and beautiful, she's probably looking for $500. So I tried speed dating too, but the thing about speed dating is it all just happens so fast. It's name, occupation, hobbies, credit score, criminal record, marital status. Surprise question to come up, but and then if everything goes well, it's time, location, and medical records. So the tragedy for me of the divorce is that I wrote all these love songs and I don't really get the chance to sing them. But since we're all here together, what the heck, right?
What's he gonna do?
Saw you standing there by the washing machine. I knew this must be the month when our clothes get clean. I put my flip-flops on so I could mow the lawn. And I could tell it had been a while, 'cause it was just dirt, yeah, dirt. But I mowed those gopher mounds as I sang, I got stuff to do. So put another load in the Kenmore, baby, and when your chores are through, I'll grab another beer and spend some time with you.